Hey, Scruffy. Early again, huh? Don't seem that meowy tonight, huh? So I have, let's see, I think it's the Super Supper again, and Kibble. So the weather was nice again today. So yeah, the heat wave seems to have dissipated a little faster than was originally forecast. But it looks like it is going to heat up again. So we may get a repeat of what just happened. So we'll get another quick warming trend, a peak on a hot day, and then it will kind of bounce back to nicer temperatures. At least that's what it looks like it's going to do right now. So I may want to consider using my sun oven one more time when it peaks again. I don't think I'll cook a stew next time. I think maybe I'll just use the oven or use it as an oven, a traditional oven. So I have some chicken thighs I can cook. Haven't done that in a while. Okay, let's get But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's going to be at least a few more days before it gets close to our next peak heat. Meanwhile, I got a bunch of other things I got to get through. So tomorrow, the refrigerator repair person comes. So tonight I have to clean out the refrigerator and freezer. Shouldn't take that long. I don't have that much stuff in there because I've been anticipating I was going to have to do this, but it's still going to take a little bit of time. And I think I should write myself some notes for the repair person tomorrow, because yeah, there are a bunch of specific behaviors about my refrigerator that I think are worth bringing up to help diagnose the problem, and I don't want to forget mentioning them. So I talk about what happened when it first started, and then what happened when I first unplugged it and went back in. I actually kept a diary of temperatures, and so there were some times where the temperatures were still abnormally warm. And then just in general, yeah, the temperatures that I'm reporting, even when it's, I think, working, quote unquote, I have noticed the refrigerator does seem to get warmer than I'd expect, and actually colder than I expect too, because I set the thermometer or thermostat. I think its default is 37 degrees or something like that. And I bought a bunch of thermometers. I used to have just one in there, but after my freezer died, which I had a thermometer in there too, I found out the thermometer actually broke, and so that's why I didn't catch the freezer not working much sooner, because the thermometer told me, oh no, that's fine, and then I found out the thermometer was broken. So now I have a whole bunch that I bought. I've also been concerned they're not very accurate, so they could be measuring the wrong temperature, but they're all kind of telling me the same thing, so either they're all equally the same in inaccuracy, or yeah, maybe they're actually telling me there's something right. And so anyway, the refrigerator seems to jump between, let's say, 32 degrees and 40 degrees on a normal thing, which I think is a fairly wide range. But originally I attributed it to, yeah, the thermometers not being accurate, and then I attributed it to maybe just where I placed the thermometers, but now I have so many, I placed them all over. And even in the back where it should be colder, yeah, they range quite a bit. So, but yeah, the thing is they can go from that entire range, so it's not just they stay at the same temperature all the time. So maybe it's not a problem because the refrigerator's not constantly cooling it. It stops and then it recools when it gets too warm. Could be that the range is just much bigger than I expected. But it's something I should ask him about, because I would think that, one, it shouldn't get that cold, but maybe that's how it works, and then two, maybe it should kick in a little faster. And then my other working theory is maybe there is a problem with the thermostat or a thermometer, and so it's not kicking in soon enough, and that's actually the problem. So when my refrigerator got really warm, over 50 degrees, maybe it was working, but not really, because the thermostat was off, and so it was kicking in too late, and I just happened to catch it when it had been, for some reason, not kicking in for a long time, because maybe it was right on that verge of, yeah, I think it needs to kick in, but not quite yet, and then it just keeps sitting there, and then it gets warmer and warmer. And then I caught it just got the right moment where, yeah, I've never seen it get that warm before. The 50 degrees is too hot, so my food's gonna spoil. so there's something wrong, but I haven't seen it do that. But again, since that, but like I said, this problem always sucks because it's not fully reproducible. And then I want to make a note to myself to also have a look at the freezer that died, just briefly. Just get an estimate. I don't think I'm going to have it fixed, but I want to at least get a ballpark figure of how much it would cost, because right now, because of the shortages and inflation, buying a new one's actually a lot more expensive than it should be, and I'm kind of curious, is the repair cost comparable? Because if it's comparable, I don't know, maybe it's worth fixing it. So the thing is, yeah, this is actually a really big freezer, and I think it's a good quality one, or it used to be a good quality one. Don't know what it'll be after the repair, but it's a big one, so if I were to buy one like that, it would cost me a lot more. I don't actually plan to buy one that big, because I don't really need one that big, but if I have to buy a brand new one that's smaller and maybe less convenient, but it's the same cost, maybe I should just keep the existing one and repair it. That's what I want to know, or figure out. My original plan was to buy a little cheap chest freezer, but that's jumped up more than doubled in price, and it doesn't actually have a, what is it, auto defrost or self defrost or whatever, so I may have to periodically, like once every year or something, thaw it out, and that's annoying, especially when I'm complaining I don't have any freezer space for anything. So if I have to clear it out, I have to figure out where to put all the food while I thaw it out, and so that's a real annoyance. I could buy a more expensive one that I saw, which is twice as much as the one that I'm looking at, which is already twice as much as it should be. But now we're starting to get into, gee, should I repair my existing one? price range. At least I think I am. So I think it's still going to be more expensive to fix it, but I don't actually know. But it is a smaller freezer. And this other one is an upright, so it's not going to be as energy efficient. Probably be still more energy efficient than my existing one, but I don't know if it by enough that I'm going to care. The chest freezer should be a lot more energy efficient, period. But if that's not an option, or a good option, then probably shouldn't get it. And they're not even in stock right now, so can't even get them. Okay, let's get your feed. Oops. Put the plate on Scruffy's foot there, because he's not backing up. Okay, I'm done. So let's see, I did see Scruffy sleeping on the table this morning next to the sun oven. And then at lunchtime, I didn't see him because he was on the deck behind the table. So I finally saw him when I came out with the water. He seemed comfortable and disinterested in me again, so I put down the water, went back inside. I initially kept an eye on the door to see if he'd come right after I went inside. He did not. And then maybe a minute later after that, I checked out the kitchen window and he was already drinking the water. And I think by the time I got my camera, he had basically finished drinking. So maybe it was longer than a minute. Usually it takes a long time to drink, or maybe just because it hasn't been as hot. He's not as thirsty, so he took a shorter drink. So I was debating on what I'm going to do after I feed Scruffy. So I could go for a bike ride, or I could go for a run. And then if I go for a run, what kind of run? So I decided I'm not going to go for a bike ride, so I'm going to go for a run. Because I went for a bike ride last time. And it's still early, but it's a little bit later than I wanted. I think I wanted to get this going a little earlier, but I got distracted with some other stuff. So then the question is, do I want to do a short run or a long run? So I think I'm actually overdue for a short run. But I think since my last couple of long runs have been so bad, and it's not too bad right now, temperature-wise, I thought maybe I should try a long run. But I don't know. So the other reason is I think in a couple days it's going to start heating up again. So today is probably the coolest day I'm going to get to run for a while. I presume I'm going to go for a bike ride tomorrow. Of course, that will be somewhat contingent on what happens with the refrigerator repair. So they have a big window that they can appear, so I got to wait around, not the full day, but the entire latter half of the day. So they might not get here till late, so I may not be able to go out. I presume I have things I'm going to be doing in the morning. So I checked the gift registry again. I still haven't committed to purchasing anything yet for my cousin's wedding. I'm still leaning towards getting that Dutch oven, but I was keeping an eye on the clearance item that I mentioned. There were a couple pillows that got really cheap, relatively speaking. I think all the items are kind of expensive, but compared to this Dutch oven, yeah, they were really cheap. So I was tempted to do that, but I'm more inclined to get a gift that has some unique meaning, not something completely generic. Sorry, yeah. So the Dutch oven is more appealing to me, even though it's ridiculously expensive. So anyway, but I was keeping my eyes on the clearance item, just see if it tempts me. So the other thing is, I think roughly a week, one of my credit cards, it has a rotating rewards program. So every so often it changes up what rewards are, or what things it gives higher rewards to. And it just so happens that I think when that next rotation comes, I will be able to apply the rewards to this item and get a slightly bigger cashback reward. So instead of 1%, I'll get 3 or something like that. Whoop-de-doo, but better than nothing, especially how expensive this thing is. And anyway, so sure enough, yeah, I checked it last night, and the clearance ended, so it's not even an option anymore. So I can back to the Dutch oven. Yeah, I should actually put my Dutch oven to some bigger stress tests. I've been a little nervous because I've read conflicting things. So on one hand, I've read you're not supposed to heat it up too much, especially on an open flame. I have a gas stove. On the other hand, I've read that these things you should be able to get hot enough to braise meat and fry chicken in oil, and those are pretty high temperatures. So I'm a little afraid to try that. Not that I'm planning to fry chicken anytime soon, but I was thinking maybe braising some meat. Of course, I have other pans I can do that in. But yeah, I haven't pushed my Dutch oven to test its full list of capabilities. So maybe I should do that sometime. And yeah, I guess in theory you can also bake bread and other things, baking type things in it. though. That's probably way more bread than I need. Yeah, I have I think it's a 6-quart, so it's like you make a cake in that. Not that I'm any good at making cakes or bread for that matter. I've done bread before, and I did bread once in the sun oven just to test it, but I did it in an actual a loaf pan, so more standard size. And came out pretty good. I noticed it doesn't rise quite as much as in a regular oven, and I think that's kind of a known limitation of the sun oven, but it came out fine. It's good bread. But since I've been trying to keep my carbs down, try not to make bread. Scruffy's drinking longer after dinner today than at lunch. Okay, folks. Scruffy's leaving. Thanks for watching. See you next time.